From as small an issue as not liking the weather or the food not tasting right, to as big the problems as the world affairs and ill health, we make uncountable complaints mindlessly, without realizing that complaints should be made only to Allah SWT. This is the part of being a true slave of Allah, putting one's trust in Him alone and expressing one's need of one's Lord. It is part of relying on Him alone and being completely independent of people around. Ibn Taymiyyah rahmahullah alayh said, complaints should be made only to Allah SWT, as His righteous slave Yaqoob A.S. said and is mentioned in Quran in Surah Yusuf. إنما أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. I only complain of my suffering and my grief to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I know from Allah that which you do not know. Some of us might think that complaining to anyone about your problems is equivalent to not being patient. But complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not contrary to patience. What is contrary to patience is complaining about Allah, that is, complaining to people about what He has decreed. This type of complaining is not complicit with the patience. One of the scholars saw a man complaining to another of poverty and need. So he said, "Are you complaining about the one who shows you compassion to the one who does not show you compassion?" Then he said in verse, "When a calamity befalls you, bear it with patience, like a man of dignity, for Allah knows best about your situation. But if you complain to the son of Adam, then you are only complaining about the most merciful, to the one who has no mercy." As in Surah Yusuf, it is mentioned in verse number 18 that Prophet Yaqoob A.S. chose for himself sabrun jameel, the beautiful patience, when his sons brought the shirt of Prophet Yusuf A.S. that was stained with false blood. قَالَ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. He said, "No, your souls must have tempted you to do something evil, so I can only endure with beautiful patience. It is Allah's help that I seek to bear your claims." It means that despite choosing the most beautiful of the patience for himself, he chose to present his grief only in front of his Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّمَا أَشْكُو بَثِّي وَحُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. The same lesson we learn from Prophet Ayub A.S., the one who is known for his remarkable patience. After he was inflicted with a lot of calamities, he lost his good health, his children, his wealth, yet he remained patient. In Surah Al-Anbiya, Quran mentions in verse number 83, وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And remember when Ayub cried out to his Lord, "I have been touched with adversity, and you are the most merciful of the merciful." And how is that possible that we do not find an example from the life of Rahmatul lil Alameen, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam? Bruised and rejected from the inhabitants of Taif, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam made this heart-reviving dua, "O Allah, I complain to you of my weakness, my scarcity of resources, and the humiliation I have been subjected to by the people. O most merciful of those who are merciful, O Lord of the weak, and my Lord too, to whom have you entrusted me? To a distant person who receives me with hostility, or to an enemy to whom you have granted authority over my affair? So long as you are not angry with me, I do not care. Your favor is of a more expansive relief to me. I seek refuge in the light of your face, by which all darkness is dispelled, and every affair of this world and the next is set right, lest your anger or your displeasure descends upon me. I desire your pleasure and satisfaction until you are pleased. There is no power and no might except by you. Therefore, we reach to a conclusion that complaining to Allah means that when a person is stricken with something or a calamity befalls him, or he finds himself in extreme need of something, he complains to Allah SWT alone, addresses his needs to Him, and relies on Him, as the prophets did with their needs and complaints. Thus he remembers his Lord, calls on Him, beseeches Him, repents and turns to Him, and seeks to draw near to Him by doing various acts of worship, because this is part of complete servitude and putting one's trust in Allah alone.